Call order of the Planning Commission. It is 6 o'clock on May 7th. First thing we'll do is take a Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, number 3 is our consent agenda. Looking for somebody to make a motion to approve the meeting agenda for tonight.
This is Susan. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
This is Bethany. I'll second.
And we'll take a vote.
Bethany, aye.
Susan, aye.
Kim, aye.
Rob and I. Next, we have the approval of the April 16th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting minutes.
This is Kim. I'll make a motion to approve the Planning Commission meeting from April 16th, 2025.
This is Susan. I'll second.
Thank you. We'll take a vote.
Bethany, abstain.
Susan, aye.
Kim, aye.
Rob and I. Okay, we're going to have a open forum. If anybody wants to come up and speak. Anybody online? All right. And we'll close the open forum. We're going to have a public hearing now for the equipmentshare.com PUDCUP at 14045 Lake Drive, pages 4 through 18, and the enclosure. Eleanor, would you please read the notices published in the Forest Lake Times?
Absolutely. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the City of Columbus Planning Commission on Wednesday, May 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as parties may be heard to consider a request to allow an equipment rental facility with accessory outdoor storage at 14045 Lake Drive in the Commercial Industrial District. The hearing will be conducted in person and by interactive technology at this Columbus City Hall located at 16319 Kettle River Boulevard, Columbus, Minnesota. Members of the public interested in attending in person, monitoring the meeting, or wanting more information should contact the city offices at 651-464-3120 or visit the city website at columbusmn.us. The hearing shall continue until all evidence and testimony has been received.
Thank you, Eleanor. Now I'd ask that the representatives for equipmentshare.com, Inc., please step forward. Could have you sit in front of the microphones, please. And slide your microphones forward a little bit and make sure you speak into the microphone for us, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Kevin Salmon. I'm representative of EquipmentShare.
Okay. Let's see if you could give your name, current address for the record.
7910 West 131st Street, Palos Heights, Illinois.
And you, sir?
I'm Miles Harrington. I work at CBRE. I represent EquipmentShare as their real estate representative. And I'd like to note, obviously Michael Schmidt is also online as a representative.
Okay, thank you. Reviewed your application, and normal protocol for you would be to brief us a little bit about your application and your plans, please.
EquipmentShare, we're going to, EquipmentShare rents equipment from business to business. So there's no really foot traffic. It's just comings and goings. We go ahead in the facility itself. We just maintain the equipment, and we have outside storage. Therefore, we can rotate them. And so a semi comes in, drops off some equipment, or picks them up, and then leaves immediately. And that's the type of business that we're in.
Okay. For the record, did you receive a copy of the staff report developed by Assistant Planner Eleanor Hahn, dated on May 1st, 2025, regarding this application? This report notes certain findings numbering 1 through 16 on pages 1 and 2. It also notes conditions numbering 1 through 17. Do you understand these recommendations and conditions, and do you have any questions or comments about them at this time?
At this time, I don't.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the floor to the commissioners if you have some questions.
This is Susan. I have no questions.
This is Kim. I have no questions.
At this time, I have no questions. This is Bethany.
One of the things that is on here that I've noticed, and some people may say I like to beat a dead horse with this, but you have a number of dead trees in the front that is part of the landscaping requirement. We kind of would like to know if you have any type of plan for that at this point on replacing those. Have you even thought about it?
I think
That actually, oh, go ahead, Kevin.
Go ahead, Mike. You can answer it.
That didn't come up to my attention, but we can certainly get them handled. That's not going to be an issue whatsoever. I have not been to the property since I first walked it, probably late last year. So, but we can definitely look at those trees and more or less get them replaced because we want to have a good front as well on the roadway there.
You've got a beautiful site, and the building is wonderful and everything. And the trees are not a condition of your receiving your permit. It's just something that just wanted to make you aware of.
I appreciate that for sure.
How often do you expect semi-traffic in and off of Lake Drive? Is this a daily thing? Multiple trucks a day?
Yes. Yeah, it's Monday through Friday, typically, sometimes Saturday, but that's usually just a last minute customer request. Maybe they need some last minute equipment or equipment in an emergency. But typically it is Monday through Friday from about 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. And trucks will come and go as they need equipment or bring equipment back.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you consistently work with the same customers like over and over again, or is it typically new, do you have like a handful of people that are always coming to you, or is it more?
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mixture of both for sure. Definitely we like to have our longevity with our customers, but we're always seeking out new customers as well.
Okay. Anybody else have any other questions?
Can I ask a few questions?
Yes, you may.
Hi, I do have a few questions. In your write-up, you refer to a site in Topeka, Kansas. Are there any sites in Minnesota that you have?
We have one in Lakeville right now.
Lakeville? So if we wanted to see what it looked like, we could go to Lakeville and take a look at that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then the other question I had is how many outlets do you guys run? I see in the write-up you referenced that there were 89 participating branches. Is that like stores, or are the branches something different?
It's the same. We actually have about 300 stores nationwide currently.
Okay. And then is your business a seasonal business, or is it primarily in the non-winter months that you're renting equipment, or is it year-round?
It's year-round. We slow down in winter because obviously there's a seasonality to construction in general. But for the most part, it is a year-round business.
And what kind of equipment are you renting?
Anything from earth moving equipment, so dirt equipment, skid steers, wheel loaders, rollers, to aerial equipment, scissor lifts, boom lifts, things along those lines. Anything that a contractor may need, or even a homeowner for that matter.
Okay. But it sounds like you're primarily business to business. You're not doing much. So if a homeowner wanted to rent, do they have to go through some sort of process, or it's just that that's not who you advertise to?
It's not typically who we advertise to, but we certainly do rent to homeowners at times. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, so you mentioned that there's 15 to 20 employees that you'd expect. Are most of those going to be local hires, or are you bringing people in from other shops?
No, absolutely. They're going to be local.
Okay. And then I know you answered the question about the semis, but you didn't answer how many a day on average would you expect?
Boy, it's really going to be, it's going to depend on the seasonality, obviously, but I would say on a heavy day, we might see, we have our own semis, I guess, to start. We have our own delivery team. We're going to have probably anywhere from 2 to 5 drivers, depending on how much equipment we have there, how busy we are. And then we will have outside haulers that come through. So I would say in a day, our trucks would run, they would be in and out 2 to 3 times in the day. And then we may have other trucks that come in once. So you're probably looking at around 10 to 12 trips in and out throughout the day.
Okay, thanks. That's really helpful. I don't have any other questions.
I have one quick question. Is everything on this list in this packet, is that all stored on site? There's like a huge long list of a million.
Yes.
Different things.
There's a lot. It's really, yeah, our customer base drives what we have on site.
Okay.
And then obviously we have a lot of long-term rentals. So even though that is all listed there, we pushed for what we call 70% utilization. So we want 70% of our equipment out on job sites at all times. So maybe 30% of that list would be sitting in our yard at a given time, or even less for that matter.
Okay.
Excellent. Are there any other questions from the commissioners? At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing to the public. If there's anyone who has an interest in this application and wants to present testimony as evidence on this issue, please acknowledge themselves by stating their full name and address. Anybody online as well?
Hi, I'm Rob Osberg. My address is 14063 Lake Drive, Northeast.
It's just a little easier for me to make minutes out of it if I can hear you.
No problem. I'm the property, me and my wife, right directly to the east, behind the property there. And this isn't my first rodeo being up here in front of you people. We were there when CST, Chad and Megan Toft built that property originally. Listened to their testimony and what they were going to do and their plans. We were there when Universal Hospital Services, JDR, bought it from Chad and Meg and Dan Harding, and you know what their hours are, how they were going to take care of the property and all that. But I guess I've got some genuine concerns that I've seen over the last, 5 years? Number one, the hours. How steadfast are you to those Monday through Friday, 7 to 5 p.m. hours?
As I mentioned, it's really, we'll have employees in there before 7, but we would not be open to the public before 7, and we would close again to the public at 5. We may have some employees that are in early to get ready and get the equipment set up to be delivered, technicians to come in and work on the equipment in the shops, and then they may also stay late or come back late from a run. But for the most part, 7 to 5 is pretty general.
When they come back from the run, are they like making lots of noise with emptying out things? And because that was one of the things, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, we'd hear clanking, and so we're curious on that.
It's going to be situational, but I don't know about clanking other than the driving off of, equipment off of a truck or driving it back on. But typically we wouldn't load at night. Too many times our orders change last minute, and we've just learned to load in the mornings before we head out. So I don't know what you'd hear for banging and clanking other than maybe chains and binders that are tying the equipment down, and then the equipment coming off of the truck. But that should be about it.
When the equipment is coming off the truck, is the equipment being started up to back it out? So there's
Yes.
the back beeping type noises and things like that?
Reverse beepers. yeah.
Reverse beepers?
Correct. Yeah, for safety, yes.
Are your trucks back by 5 o'clock, or is that depend on where they're at? So it could be,
That's gonna depend on the day. That's gonna depend on, how far they may have had a run, if we had a last minute end of day run or not.
One other thing on the semi thing that, these are full-size semis coming in?
Yes.
We also had times, because we're sharing that driveway. I don't know, you've been there, so we share that driveway. And so there has been times where we've had to wait because the driver is in the driveway, and they can't move into your lot or whatever, and so they've blocked it. I mean, it doesn't happen all that often, but it has happened to us. So when they come into the drive, are they going to be coming into your yard through the fence, or will they have to sit and wait and then you're going to load out on the driveway?
No, we would not want to block that driveway any more than we would have to at any given time. It would really be, if we're waiting for one truck to leave, maybe for a couple of minutes to shimmy the two trucks around each other. But other than that, they should be coming into the yard to unload. We would not be doing that on the driveway.
the reason I'm asking about the hours, I've heard these same hours from the two places prior. In CST, they had trucks coming all hours of the day, Saturdays and Sundays, dumping wood off. JDR was coming back, like she said, up to 9 o'clock, dumping garbage. That was all the clanging. They were reversing. I'm looking at him. I don't know where his camera is.
I keep looking at it too.
But anyway, they'd be unloading their equipment off their trucks. You hear the reverse beepers. And,
Sure.
I work very hard all day. I don't want to come home, be grilling up and listening to all that at 6 o'clock, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night.
I can tell you right now through our Lakeville department, our Lakeville location, I think the latest I've seen a truck there is 5:30, 6 o'clock at night coming in. And most of the time right now, they've been gone probably by 5 o'clock. I mean, it's not always going to be consistent like that, just to be transparent and honest. But right now, that's the way it's been in Lakeville for the last year.
This is Kim. I have a question. For your equipment, I'm assuming a lot of it is diesel, and when the weather is cooler, it has to warm up before it's moved?
Diesel and gasoline, yeah, it's a mix of either or. And we also have electric vehicles as well, electric equipment. So, but the diesel does have to warm up, but as far as the equipment goes, we don't really warm the equipment up because we're just going to get it on the truck and we're going to deliver it to the customer, and then they're going to probably, run it and warm it up themselves. Our trucks might be running, but the equipment is going to be run just long enough to get it on the truck and loaded.
Okay, and so there won't be any pre-starting before 7 a.m. though?
There may be at times because our drivers, our customers like to have the equipment delivered first thing in the morning, somewhere between 7 and 9 a.m. per se. So we may have drivers in there earlier starting up equipment. That is a possibility.
Okay.
How early?
It's going to be really dependent on what the customers are asking for us to do and how far the job is away from where we got to take it.
What would be the earliest?
I've seen trucks start at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But I would say we probably have trucks. We probably have guys on average getting in between 5 and 6. Takes them an hour or so to load and then to get out and make sure they get on the road and get the equipment to the customer in time.
This is Susan. I have a question. As far as the rental, is that based on an hour or is it based on kind of like standard 24-hour clock? I mean, I've rented equipment, sometimes it's based on the hour, sometimes it's based on the day, and I'm kind of wondering if that maybe determines as far as that startup time.
We base it on day rental, day, week, and month. We don't really rent by the hour.
Thank you.
I have a question for maybe, I don't know, Eleanor or Jack, I'm not sure who, but how long were each of the, probably you guys know better than anyone, how long were each of the previous businesses there in this space? And is the space flexible to be used for, is it really like geared towards this very specific type of?
So off the top of my head of doing this research, the first business that developed this property was there from 2020 to 2022, 23. And then there was another one that was until 24. So neither of the previous businesses were there very long. This particular property was sort of developed as a contractor's yard with, there is some vehicle bays built into the building. There's a fuel pump station in the middle of the facility, of the storage yard. And then the main thing about this property is that we had the previous owners build a complete 10-foot tall opaque fencing that we spent a lot of time designing and talking to people about.
I think I remember that.
In order, yes.
Okay.
I think that you were on the planning commission when we made them get that fence up. So although there is some flexibility in this property, it is geared towards something with a lot of exterior storage and some vehicle repair, equipment repair. That is what the building was built for and what that property is serviced for.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now close the,
We have a few more questions.
oh, so sorry.
I was
And then-
waiting to see if anyone was still on that.
Go,
If-
go.
Okay.
No, I'll
If you
go
could-
down my little list here, but getting back to the hours, no offense, Kim, but we've heard this same thing about the hours, 7 to 5, Monday through Friday, occasional Saturdays from both CST and JDR, and neither of them abided by it. We were hearing stuff Saturdays, Sundays, evenings. So my ask to the city council and the planning commission is, this has got to be drilled down on and not be so gray and vague in language. There's got to be something for us to go back to. Why are we listening to this?
And the starting of, heavy machinery at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., I'm sorry, I need my sleep, I have a job.
Yeah, we work very hard and,
And we absolutely would hear that, 100% we would hear that. We're that close. And so would our neighbors.
And so anyway, that takes care of the hours. But the other thing, I don't have the agenda packet in front of me, to kind of go through that. But I know it was talked about the garbage not having to be contained, I think was somewhere in there.
Yes.
Because of the fence enclosure. Well, I'll tell you from firsthand experience, I've picked up tons of garbage. And I have plenty of pictures on my phone. About a month ago, I spent 2.5 hours on a Saturday. And I went all the way up to where the metal fence starts and the chain link starts. And went back and my whole entire yard and cleaned it up. And I still didn't probably get all of it, So something's got to be done with the garbage. That needs to be contained. And Janet, it might have been you during one of the city council meetings when we were talking about the fence that asked for a chain link on the very bottom, because it's coming underneath there is where the majority of it's coming. Some is coming over the top also. So that's another big concern of ours. And granted, I don't think Equipment Share would have as much garbage as the last place, because they had a bunch of trucks that were out on the road, so they'd come back and they'd unload all their junk, and they didn't do a good job of getting rid of their garbage on a timely basis either, the dumpsters, So.
Go ahead, go for your next one.
Yep, and then the other thing, I know this was on the agenda packet too, was talking about the lighting being shrouded. And we've talked to, CST put the lighting in, so we didn't have a chance then. But when JDR was coming in, they were supposed to shroud the lighting, so it's pointing down, and nothing ever got done on that. So, the lights, each light just needs to be shrouded so it's going down and not pointing directly out like it is.
We were hopeful that the fence that got put up bordering, parallel to us. We were hoping that it was gonna cover, but it's not when you're in the house. You can still see the lights over the fence.
Yeah.
If you're right up with the fence, obviously, but you can, and it's very bright. We have a bedroom on that side, and we have to use darkening shades, otherwise it just lights up the bedroom. It's that light, it's that bright at night.
You know, granted, in the summertime, the trees and the leaves help that, but, you know, the rest of the year, you're seeing it, so that's another concern of ours. There was some alarm going off there all the time. It was really weird. It was like, and we talked to Dan, the old owner, it would like go off and it was like a recording of people. It was almost like a scare tactic. And I was talking to James, our neighbor, and he was hearing it. It's driving him nuts because his house is more up on the hill and he can hear that.
Some sort of alarm? Is it a security alarm?
Something. That's the only thing I can think it is. It's like a security alarm.
And it's a male voice in a recording
Okay.
to scare people off.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't know.
totally sure what it is.
Yeah, maybe part of emotions, I don't know. But anyway, and we already talked about the traffic. I guess my other concern was just how nice it's gonna look, because we drive by every single day. And the last place JDR was complete and total eyesore. And I thank the council for requiring them to get the fence in, it wasn't in a timely fashion, but you kind of put your foot down and gave them a deadline, and I commended them. They got it in well prior to the deadline, you know, so we weren't looking at all that. But I guess my question is, when I think of a big construction rental, you mentioned boom trucks. Do you have a bunch of cranes up in the air and stuff, or?
Boom lifts, yeah, the baskets will be up in the air at times.
And they'll be over the top of the 10-foot fence. They go higher
Yes.
than the 10 foot.
How many of them do you have? I mean, I haven't been down to your Lakeville location, but I plan on going down there to take a look at that.
It really depends. Again, it really again comes and goes with how many we have that are not on rent at the time. I can tell you right now that in our Milwaukee shop and even in Lakeville, we can't keep a boom lift in our yard to save our lives, which is a good problem to have from a business standpoint. But it's also we're sourcing more booms to bring in for other customers still requesting them. So it really just depends on the time of year and how busy we are. The busier we are, the less you'll see.
The reason that's kind of alarming to me, I was just down Highway 55 going to Rochester recently, and I saw a place on the right, and they had a ton of boom truck lifts up in the air, and
And that's all you could see.
it was horrible to look at. And I know, Janet, you or one of the other gals on the last city council was very concerned with the eyesoreness, I guess if that's a word, making sure that everything was below the fence.
Right.
You know, so I guess that's a real concern of ours also. You have anything else?
Who are the typical businesses that you're dealing with? We're talking small contractors.
General contractors, electrical contractors, plumbing, mechanical, landscapers, anybody that does anything with dirt, whether it's paving or anything to do with dirt moving material as well.
Then the other thing I had was containment of the equipment, and I did see that in the agenda packet. You were requiring them to keep everything completely enclosed inside the fence, so. I guess our concern would be those boom lifts up, in everybody's sight. Not only ours, but everyone on the Lake Drive also.
And this is more curiosity. Are you buying or are you leasing? Because I know that the sign out for sales, or the for sale sign says you could buy or lease. So are you?
We're buying.
You're buying?
We're
Okay.
purchasing, yes.
I think that plays into how long are you staying. You don't want to do this again.
Anything else for you?
I think we've touched on everything, and like our just ask is, for the city council and planning commission, kind of drill down on this stuff, eliminate any gray areas, Imagine yourselves living where we are and our neighbors and everyone driving by there. And I know you guys all drive down Lake Drive by there at some point, so.
I do know the aggravation. I had trucking going through my neighborhood for 4 years. Semi trucks through the neighborhood. So I know you're concerned with the semi trucks. I appreciate that. The boom lifts, I'm not sure much they can do about that because of safety reasons. They have to keep those booms up so that nobody can get in them. But I can tell you that the lighting, it is part of the conditions that they do have to do this. So it is, they do have to come into compliance with the shrouding.
Yep.
I can tell you that for certain, that is going to happen.
Yep, I remember that with JDR. They just never did anything on it, so, nope, that'd be great. Nope.
Anybody else have anything to add?
There are a couple things that I would like to address. Thank you so much for your comments and everything, but just to provide some clarity for everybody. First of all, the comments that you made about blocking the driveway, that is a part of this conditions. You are not allowed to have any vehicles stalled or parked in that shared driveway, as it is used by multiple owners. What Robin said about the shrouding of the lighting, since you guys utilized the previous company's site plan, since you weren't using any site plan, you weren't suggesting any major site plan changes, anything in that site plan that wasn't completed that we didn't know about, such as the lighting, will need to be completed, mainly that. And also, we couldn't tell, since I went to visit the site when trees were dormant, if there are some dead trees that were in this site plan, those will need to be replaced as well.
Okay.
And then regarding the hours of operation, we don't add hours of operation into our conditions. We don't regulate hours of operation, but we do have noise ordinances and noise violation ordinances that they will still need to abide by. Specifically, we have pretty strict 7 to 10 p.m. noise violations. So if there are frequent early morning noise complaints, that is something that we are going to have to bring some compliance inspections into and probably have to work that out with you guys as well. I think that covered all of my comments on what was said today.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I just want to reiterate what you were talking about with the hours. Eleanor, I remember reading some conditional use permits from some of the businesses around us, not CST or JDR there. And there was things in their conditional use permit, no Saturdays and Sundays,
Okay.
So.
I can definitely bring that up with
Well,
our
I can dig
consultants
that up
to make
and-
sure that that's still allowed in our code, because some of those CUPs
Okay.
are quite old. But if it is, we might put some late night restrictions or, yes, I can
Like I say,
reach out to
you
some.
just got to eliminate the gray areas,
Of course.
and, thank you.
Is that something, so there's a 7 a.m. noise ordinance, anything before 7 a.m., like, is that something, when you say down in the future, we would have to work that out, like, is that something that can be worked out, like, from your perspective, if the city said, you can't have these noises happening before 7 a.m., is that possible from your perspective?
It's possible. It's tricky. Like I said earlier, we've preloaded trucks the night before, trying to be more efficient with our business model. And of course, you preload at 3 p.m. and by 4:30, 5 o'clock, a customer calls and says they don't need a piece of equipment anymore. And of course, that's the one piece of equipment that's in the way of everything else. But it is definitely possible for us to start with the preloading and see how it goes and go from there. We'll just have to figure it out, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I know the backup beepers came up with another company, and I have no idea whether this works for the equipment that you have, but they were able to use the flashing lights rather than the backup beepers, so it still alerts, when they're being backed up, if there's anybody in the vicinity to get out of the way. But it helped with the noise potential. I don't know that would work for you, but.
Yeah,
something to
unfortunately,
think about.
OSHA requires backup beepers on all equipment that's on the job site when it's moving backwards.
The stuff that you
That's
rent.
an OSHA.
Yeah.
Right. That's an OSHA law.
Okay.
All right.
Just segue off of Janet's, I thought I heard the same thing, that the bright light backup beepers are now covered by OSHA, but I'm not an expert on that, but, we should probably look into that,
And-
So that would be huge if, to eliminate that.
So how much of your equipment will have these beepers on when it's moving around? Because like with JDR, I don't recall hearing much backup beepers
It's
because,
just they're real big trucks.
Yeah.
Which were,
because they mostly had pickup trucks and, they did have, what they plow the driveway with.
Bobcat.
Bobcat, thank you. And I'm sure that probably had some beeper on it, but I don't recall it being a lot of vehicles that had backup. With me visualizing the type of equipment you have, I visualize a lot more having. So I
Yeah.
envision that's.
Okay, we'll now close the public hearing, and Planning Commission have any more questions?
I don't.
Eleanor? All right. Be advised that we will be meeting again in 2 weeks after we've reviewed this application, and we'll meet again on May 21st, 2025 to discuss the application one more time and forward our findings to the City Council. We'll look forward to seeing you then.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I seem to miss a motion there, didn't I?
You can ask for a motion for that now.
Oh, can we get a motion to continue the discussion at our next next PUDCUP at the next Planning Commission meeting on May 21st?
This is Bethany. I make a motion to continue the discussion of equipmentshare.com PUDCUP to the next Planning Commission meeting on May 21st, 2025.
This is Susan, I'll second.
We'll take a vote.
Bethany, aye?
Susan, I.
Kim, I.
Rob and I.
We're just both so eager there.
Okay, we are going to have a discussion about Love's Travel Stop. There's some more things that have come up with that since. And Eleanor, would you like to brief us on that, please?
Absolutely. We've discussed the Love's traffic stops a few times now. The actual site plan has since been approved, and that was for the addition of the additional 4 fuel pumps, 2 stations, 4 fuel pumps. And during that process, we noticed a few issues with their screening proposals. Namely, they would have to, according to their original CUP, they would have to screen their truck parking from view up to 80% opacity by August 17th, 2027. Over the last couple of years, there's been some issues with that tree coverage, and it has become increasingly clear that they're not going to reach that screening requirement. And so a part of this site plan review, when they came forward to ask for something else, we put them on notice stating that they're going to have to come up with a new plan to assist in that previously approved screening proposal. We pretty quickly received this new proposal that you have in front of you by property owner Dylan Schwartz on May 2nd, 2025. Now, according to our city code, the zoning administrator is authorized to allow modifications to prior approved fences, screening, landscaping plans, provided the modifications are consistent with the intent and scope of the prior approved plans. This fencing proposal is the intent of that is to better comply with the previously approved screening. However, since it's been brought up to the Planning Commission and there has been a significant amount of community interest in the matter, city staff is requesting any comment and the approval of the proposed fencing elements in order to get this underway for them. Does anyone have any comments or questions regarding my report and or the fences?
I just have one question, and just more for aesthetic purposes. Will the fence be, as far as if you're on the freeway, will the fence be in front of the trees or behind it? Like, would you see the trees first and then the fence, or would it be vice versa?
So looking at how they have it set up right now, there is an existing 4-foot chain link fence, and it's sort of between the trees, if I understand this right. There's one row of trees in front of the fence and then another row of trees behind the fence.
Okay.
And this 8-foot tall composite fence will replace that smaller chain link.
Thank you.
So both.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, this Trex is a nice stuff. I have used it.
Yeah, my deck.
Personally.
Absolutely.
And
Good.
It's very nice.
It's good quality stuff. I think it'll certainly enhance the look. Right now, I drove by there, I don't know if it was yesterday or today. There was something going on the freeway, so I had a long time to look at it, and it looked really ratty. And I was really happy when I saw this. I was like, oh, thank goodness. You once again made me a happy man by doing your homework. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, and we have that fence as well. I guess I'll name Zach England, by the way, in case, for Love Travel Stop GM.
Thank you.
But yeah, we actually have that composite fence up right now. We have a 6th version. It actually runs along from the end of our building where Hardee's is at, down the drive-through area, kind of blocking between drive-through and the commercial side. So yeah, we have that fence now, and it's a great fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess just a kind of sentiment that I saw this too, I was actually really pleased. I mean, we have it, and I think it weathers great. It looks nice. It's going to, I think, and as those trees then get bigger and mature, I think it's just going to be an overall nice aesthetic.
Agree. Any other comments?
No comment.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to either continue this discussion or to recommend approval of the modification of the screening proposal to the City Council.
This is Susan. I'll recommend approval of the Love's Travel Stops modified screening proposal to the City Council.
This is Kim. I'll second the motion.
We'll take a vote on that.
Bethany, aye.
Susan, I.
Kim, I.
Rob and I. All right.
So moved.
And I guess we're on to the Planning Commissioner's report. Oh, I have nothing. Do any of you have anything?
I do not have anything.
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Well, I thank you all. Assistant Planner's report?
Yes, I do have one thing. As of Monday, I believe, there is a new vacancy on the Planning Commission. We have sent out some applications. We've already received a few applications for that vacant seat. However, we were wondering if the Planning Commission would like to vote for a new chair and vice chair at the next meeting, or if they would like to wait to make those new appointments until the entire 5 seats are filled. Does anyone have any strong feelings about that?
No strong feelings.
Okay.
For me, nothing strong.
I myself don't see where that 5th person would really, their vote would be very informed at this point. So I think the 4 people that are here are best informed to make that decision.
Okay.
So I would recommend that we do this next week, or next meeting.
Susan?
Good Chair.
I didn't have strong feelings, but I know in my day job, so to speak, that we didn't wait for a new person. We did appoint so we could keep moving forward. And then
course.
sometimes you have to do reorganizational, but we use the people that, again, like Robin alluded to, that are most informed at this point.
I agree.
All right. I just thought it should be a discussion to be had, and that will be on the next Planning Commission agenda to vote for new chair and vice chair.
Thank you, Eleanor. If there's nothing else, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
This is Bethany. I motion to adjourn.
This is Kim, I'll second.
Take a vote.
Bethany, aye.
Susan, I.
Kim, I.
Robin, aye. Meeting is closed at 6:45.